As Fortnite Chapter 2 came to an end, we got the announcement that Fortnite Chapter 3 was just on the horizon. Now, I love Chapter 2 as many others did, but there was a lot of people who did not like it at all. And this kind of put the community on this split point where, Chapter 2 enjoyers were on one side and Chapter 1 enjoyers were on another side, and they wanted two different games, basically. So Fortnite needed to find a way to satisfy, the fans that were still playing the game, the Chapter 2 fans, while also, bringing the Chapter 1 players back to make them enjoy the game again. So I really think the point of Chapter 3 was just to reset the game, to get everyone to come back and test it out again. And I gotta say, Fortnite did a great job of satisfying both sides, because they kind of just mixed the two chapters together, and it was amazing. It's not better than Chapter 2 in my opinion, but honestly, I'd maybe take this chapter over Chapter 1. Maybe. This opening season was super refreshing though, because I gotta say, Season 8 started to trail off on Chapter 2, and it got kind of boring by the end of it. So just to come back with this incredible season was so fun. And in my opinion, this season really revolutionized the game, and it kind of made it impossible to go back to the original state of Fortnite, not in a way of the map or the guns, but in the way of the new mechanics that they added, which we're gonna get into. But yeah, overall, the season just stands out in so many different ways, and it's really a top 3 season for me. Now, usually I'd start on the Battle Pass, but for this season, it's a little bit different. Obviously, starting off with the 3 main mechanics, sprinting, mantling, and sliding, I really could not go back to the old game without these. It just wouldn't happen. Like, at this point, people are so used to it, the game would feel so slow without them. That's why even for the OG season, they still had them in there, because, you have to have it now. There's no way to play without them. Also, these just look so sick. I remember they were doing those Fortnite parkour videos when they first came out, and I was just watching them all the time. Ground wins were also added, which aren't a huge change that we could go without those, but I really enjoy them and I think they're pretty cool. And they are still in the game and pretty impactful for a lot of people, so listen, props to them for that too. We also had the tents that let you transfer one thing to another game, so let's say you got the Spidey Mythic twice, you just drop that shit right into the tent, and the next game, there it is, bro. UPS right to your fucking house. As long as you get another tent. We also had the whole weather thing, which was kind of a cool idea. I don't know why it faded out so quickly, but I kind of understand, because to a certain degree it could ruin the game, but I kind of miss it. And then obviously we had the whole tree cutting down thing. This was kind of a useless mechanic. I don't know really what it was supposed to do. I don't know what their actual main intentions were with this, but it was fun. It was pretty fun to troll with them. But yeah, I just think that these things really revolutionized the game. So yeah, this is probably one of the most revolutionary seasons we've had. And I really do think I'm speaking for most people here when I say you cannot go back to the old game without sprinting or mantling. Now I have to speak on the Battle Pass. In my opinion, this Battle Pass is pretty solid, but it is lacking a main theme, which is a little annoying. That might not be a good argument though, because the theme of this Battle Pass might be that it's just thrown together, and that's not a bad thing I'm saying. What I'm saying by that is that, the whole island got flipped and people were just getting thrown around, so maybe that's the whole theme of this Battle Pass. I mean, Spider-Man's here, so he just spawned in or something. I would say another really good thing about this Battle Pass is the customization. It was really good in customization. A lot of these characters had so many different customizable things you could do to them, and I think that was really cool. But yeah, Ronan is easily my favorite skin in this Battle Pass. I think he looks really cool without the mask, but the mask is cool too. But his full out, costume with the hood and everything looks really amazing to me. LT John Llama is also a really cool looking skin. He's pretty big, so it's kind of hard to play with him, but the full blackout version of him looks so good. Haven was cool for the idea that you could customize her with all these masks, but I really don't fuck with her that much because I don't like her costume and everything that's going on. Gumbo was a pretty good looking skin too. I don't really use him that much because, he's whatever, but it's pretty cool. Harlow was fine. I could see a lot of sweats using her though, so, to each their own. Shanta's pretty mid in my opinion because I didn't get any of her armor and she just looks weird without it. The stance is kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, she's a mid skin. Now, obviously, we got to save the best for last. Spider-Man, bro. I love this skin so much. I don't like him as much as Ronan, but overall, bro, it's Spider-Man. Like, you have to like Spider-Man. Like, there's no way that you can't like this skin, bro. And then obviously the secret skin, the Foundation, who was cool until the mask came off and The Rock because they made him look really weird. I don't know what's going on with that, but it was whatever. I think that, why do we have to take the mask off? Like, it's cooler to just not see who's under there. But yeah, overall, we're talking basically off skins. The Battle Pass is pretty solid. It was fine. It was a cool Battle Pass. Like I said, it's lacking a little bit of a theme, but maybe that was the theme. Now, moving on to this map. This map was incredible. It was so good. It did an amazing job of mixing, Chapter 2 aspects with Chapter 1 aspects. And of course, it brought one of my favorite POIs of all time, the Daily Bugle. Now, I don't just like this because of the Spider-Man bias. Listen, I like Spider-Man, but this POI by itself is just so good. For when I had the Spider-Man mythics, and I know I just said no Spider-Man bias, but I think these are already good even if they weren't Spider-Man. These are quite possibly the best mythic we have in this entire game because they're just so fun to use. Swinging around with them half the time in this season was was more fun than going out and just shooting people in the game. But yeah, this POL was just super interesting and refreshing with the cobwebs and everything that was going on with it. Really just the build of it looked really good. But that one clip where that kid, gets knocked and then bounces over to his teammate on the cobwebs, I'll never forget that. That was so clean, bro. You also got Tilted back, and that kind of speaks for itself. Although I kind of like Salty Towers more than Tilted, which is just a Tilted but with the sand. Basically the same place. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up, but low key, I'm just saying because I gotta throw some kind of unpopular opinion in this video. But yeah, with all jokes aside, I just think Tilted is just like goated POI. Like I don't really have to do any explaining. Pony Crossroads, although it looks really simple, was just super fun to land at. I don't know what I love so much about this place, but it was super cool. And obviously we had Lil Whip. Rocky Roads is also pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Risky Rails, so it was cool to see it still have some life on the map.
If you land at Rocky Rails and drive a vehicle in this location, you will instant die.
Conquer Speedo, which is also in the desert biome, looked really sick. I love this place. I think it was just so well designed. Now, obviously, you guys heard me mention the whole biome thing. I think they really split the biomes well on this. There was also the winter biome, which was pretty cool. It was probably the least of my favorites, but it was fine. We had log jam, shifty shafts, so you want to kill it because it was kind of there, but that was more in the grass biome. But overall, out of all the chapters, this is easily my second favorite to chapter 2, and this map had a chance of taking over chapter 2, I'm not gonna lie. Now, speaking of the loophole, it was pretty solid, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not as good as a lot of other seasons, but I gotta admit, it was pretty stacked. The MK is probably one of my favorite ARs of all time. It is so fun to laser people with, and it's really just a no-skill gun, but it's just super fun to use. Those was the heavy assault rifle, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I can't remember too well, and when I looked it up, it would just not give me a name. But yeah, that was fine too. The heavy assault rifle, it's not a bad gun. We also got the auto shotgun back, which I love the auto shotgun. It's so fun to use. Personally, I prefer the Maven over it, but the auto shotgun is still great. And then the striker pump, I don't really care for this gun. Obviously, I like the pump more. I prefer the tack over the auto, but at least the auto, it still had kind of something going on with it. The striker though, I didn't really fuck with it that much. The Stinger SMG was also holy so good, and I'm kind of whatever on SMGs. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't, but this SMG, one of my personal favorites, I can't lie. We also got launch pads as a usable item again, which is super fun to always use. Personally, I will always prefer a launch pad as an item than a designated spot for one. Although, as long as they're in the game, I'm usually pretty happy. In every chapter, we get a new kind of Chug Splash type heal. So this season, we got the Guzzle Juice. Obviously, Chug Splashes were still in the game, which, I love Chug Splashes, so I'm not complaining about that. But the Guzzle Juice is pretty cool, too. Med Mist, also super cool that you can use on your teammates. I really just like the heals this season. I think they were pretty stacked out on it. And we obviously cannot forget the two mythics we got. The MK mythic was fucking broken. It just sprayed people, and honestly, I'm not complaining about it. Yeah, I'm a fan of fucking Chapter 2 Season 2, so I'm used to these mythics. But we also got the Spider-Man mythics, bro. Holy shit, I mentioned these earlier, but bro, this mythic is incredible, bro. The swinging is so fun. I'm kind of glazing it because it was just basic swinging, but it was just super fun to use. Overall, this loop was pretty solid. I had a pretty good time with it. I couldn't switch guns around too much because there were some guns I just really didn't like, but other than that, this loop was pretty solid. Overall, the season just had a very fun, refreshing, interesting vibe to it. It was super unique in my opinion, and it was still able to keep that complexity that I love from Chapter 2, but also in a lot of ways bringing back that simplicity from Chapter 1, which, I didn't really care about the simplicity for Chapter 1. I kind of thought it was boring, but a lot of people did enjoy it, so you gotta, mix them together and keep your fans happy. Shit, what can I say, guys? Epic likes to give us a little surprise. Something special. I think the season did an amazing job on really delivering what Fortnite represents as a game. And like I mentioned earlier, it had this really all over the place type theme to it, which I thought was kind of cool. Obviously the battle pass kind of all over the place didn't have much of a theme to it, but I think that was the point at the end of the day. But yeah, easily a top 3 season for me, and I know that sounds really high, but this season really deserves it in my opinion. And I think even objectively, this is probably one of the greatest seasons of all time. I think just under Chapter 2 Season 2, and in some ways it might come above it. Overall though, I don't think it's better, but it is pretty close. But yeah, overall, Epic really just cooked up with creativity on this one. It really just had a little bit of everything, and I think that's what made it so special compared to other seasons.